Welcome to today's important announcement. Welcome to the Innovation Centre, the best place to build a smart startup high-growth company on the Sunshine Coast. Please welcome Mayor Mark Jamieson.
Good morning to you all. It's great that so many of you accepted our invitation to come along and be here today. Some years ago there was a slogan, "Where else but Queensland?" And today we might truly be able to say, well, where else but the Sunshine Coast? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the future really is here. And doing so in a way that never loses sight of the importance of our outstanding lifestyle and environmental credentials, of the commitments made by Council, the University, the State Government, and industry and commerce around the Sunshine Coast. The Sunshine Coast was recently ranked in the National 2015-16 State of the Regions report as the second highest performing regional economy in Queensland. What we're seeing is the Sunshine Coast taking a leading position as a major urban and economic centre in Australia. We've outperformed the majority of other regions in Queensland and indeed most regions nationally. And this week we've taken an even bolder step to take us on a journey to become a truly 21st century global region. In our regional economic development strategy, we're committed to work with telecommunications providers to ensure world-class broadband infrastructure and services are delivered for our region. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to confirm that Council has lodged a comprehensive submission with the Australian Communications and Media Authority, or ACMA, to commence the process to declare a submarine cable protection zone off the coast of the Sunshine Coast. This offshore cable will connect directly with global networks and link to Australia's terrestrial networks like the NBN. There are currently only, and I can't overstate this point, there are currently only 5 such international cable connections in Australia. 4 within a short stretch of coastline in Sydney and 1 into Perth. So this is a really unique piece of kit, coming at a time when you think of all the development opportunities I've just spoken about before. When we looked at the topography of the coastline, down the Queensland coastline, and the marine environment, and the availability of significant population centres sufficiently distant from Sydney, there really is no better answer for a new cable landing point on the eastern seaboard.
It is a future which sees an international submarine cable directly linked with global communication networks in Asia, the Pacific and the United States. To achieve this, Council has applied to have an offshore cable protection zone declared so private enterprise can install the international undersea broadband cable. Landing at the Sunshine Coast, the cable has the potential to light up our region and significant parts of Queensland. The Sunshine Coast will be one of the most attractive places in Australia for businesses with high technology and broadband needs, which means new jobs for our community. It will also project Australia's national telecommunication links, providing an alternative global connection in the event that cables connecting Sydney were to be damaged or fail. The Sunshine Coast, shaping a future which opens us up to the world.
So if the cable protection zone is declared and the submarine cable infrastructure is delivered, the shape of the region's economy and our attractiveness to new businesses will change profoundly and forever. And this benefit is not confined exclusively to the Sunshine Coast, and that's something I'm really proud of, that we're in the firing line to deliver for the state of Queensland. And it's my hope that it can be helpful to points further north and west, other parts of Queensland, where our agricultural sector and smaller communities are under increasing pressure and yet don't have the very basic services of international connectivity. The impact on the marketability and value proposition of the Sunshine Coast as a place to invest and operate a business will be outstanding. At this point, we've lodged the submission with ACMA for their assessment. While we have been working to this point now for some time, the reality is that this milestone really is just the end of the beginning. We've a long road in front of us. First and foremost, ACMA needs to start the declaration process for the cable protection zone offshore from the Sunshine Coast. Along the way, we have gained good support from the Federal Minister and current and previous Queensland governments and the Council of Mayors of South East Queensland, all of whom see the clear and unequivocal benefit of having a cable protection zone declared off the Sunshine Coast and the submarine cable in place. Last week, the Premier of Queensland announced a range of commitments under the Queensland Government's Advanced Queensland policy to reinvigorate Queensland as the smart state. The reality is that if we can secure the declaration of the cable protection zone and get the cable in place, this will be the most significant infrastructure investment that could underpin advanced Queensland. Then I ask you to do this, and that is take 10 to 20 minutes to voice your support for Council's submission for a cable protection zone to ACMA, to the Federal Minister Malcolm Turnbull, and indeed to members of the Federal Government. Do this by email, social media, or even write a letter if you feel inclined. We can make it happen, but we need your support. So ladies and gentlemen, you now know why I said at the outset, today is truly an historic day, and a very important one. Let's hope it bears fruit from the seed we have sown, because the future really is here on our Sunshine Coast. Thank you very much.
I'd like to introduce Kevin Hegarty, Chief Executive Officer of the Sunshine Coast Health and Hospital Service.
Firstly, I just want to start as a representative of the health sector to just pause to acknowledge the foresight and the vision of the Council to make this application, and then what it means for us in health. Obviously, we're a major player within the economy, delivering an essential service. The organisation that I lead spends over $2 million a day, 7 days a week, providing health care. So for us, this is a vital step from both bringing the focus onto the Sunshine Coast as well as the enablement that it will deliver once the investment comes to bring the cable to shore. One of the other figures I've come across in the last little while was the 4 cables that come into Sydney are apparently only covered by 2 protection zones, and there's a protection zone off Perth. So that gives Australia 3. New Zealand 2 years ago had 10.
I'd now like to introduce Craig Josick. He's the Chief Digital Officer at Schoolzine, and he's also involved with many other entrepreneurial pursuits.
I'm honoured actually to be here today. I really do think this is an historical event, and I cannot believe that we're at this point. I know a couple of years ago, I looked back just recently yesterday, and Mark mentioned about the events that have happened over the last few years, and I think for us to move forward, it's nice to look back. In the last few years, there's been a number of events that have happened, and I really think that's changing the culture of our business here on the coast. Events like the Google E-Town that was awarded to the Sunshine Coast, and then we've had 2 startup events here on the coast, and also Code Dojo, where we're teaching kids how to code, and Core Ed, teaching entrepreneurship. I think those are catalyst events here on the coast, is helping to promote the next generation. And I think that's really important. What we're seeing here is my children will benefit from this announcement today. And I think it's important that we can actually use social media and use all our networks to share this message and get that movement happen. Trending is something that we can do as a group, and I think collaboration is the new economy. And that's the part that we like to share, that you can actually build a head office, a global head office here on the Sunshine Coast, and take advantage of this opportunity.
It's available to take some questions from anyone in the audience.
But I can say this is a really unique opportunity, and one that creates all sorts of future benefits for our region and for the young people of our region. Indeed, not only young people, old people as well. Yes.
So how soon could we expect an acknowledgement of the application and the timeline for when things could start to move forward?
Yeah, look, that's a really good question. I would anticipate a recognition perhaps at least in the next month. A lot of community consultation involved, so again, we need our community to get the most positive messages possible about this exercise. It is rare, and it is a wonderful opportunity. As I say, that benefit of being right here where it comes ashore, fits beautifully with the sort of environment we want to maintain, the lifestyle we want to live. And there's no doubt many young people in schools and universities around here today who will be the beneficiaries of that long into the future. Dustin.
Do you see this benefiting the NBN rollout, our position in the queue?
An offshore communication link. It needs to dovetail into the onshore networks, and the NBN being, but there are other networks obviously, to provide that backhaul distribution. There's a fibre optic cable from Ergoing that runs all the way to North Queensland. That should be part of it as well, and hopefully light up a lot of those western and northern communities to give them, as I say, more opportunities. If Australia is going to benefit from its agricultural resources, we need people staying in the bush to do that. Yes, sir.
Just actually, just a comment on as someone who's worked in a digital field for 20 years. People talk about the ability to telecommute, and so I think this is a brilliant case of bringing that infrastructure to a place like this, which will really allow the kind of telecommuting to happen within a region like this. It sort of isn't really quite. It's possible now, but it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't flow well now.
But certainly this facilitates, as does the rollout of the NBN generally, facilitate the notion of digital work hubs. Like instead of putting people in cars or trains that are all going to be sent to Brisbane, and it's not only from the Sunshine Coast, it's from Moreton Bay, Ipswich, Toowoomba, the Gold Coast, the Logan area. I can see a future where there are the equivalent of Qantas lounges, home, workplace for thousands of Queenslanders who work in the technology field, who jump on their bike and ride to the nearest digital centre rather than on a train to Brisbane. When you think about the cost of infrastructure around widening roads and widening rail lines, this is a far more inexpensive option. I guess we can't do without that expansion, but it may well save some time. So, as I said, there's a myriad of opportunities, and it's great that so many of you come along here today to be disciples for the cause, and that's really what we need, people to tell or assist ACMA and the federal government see the Sunshine Coast as the tech capital of Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming today, and I look forward to sharing our success at a point in the future. Thank you.